welcome back. It's Sandy with Sandy's Organized Chaos, and today I am going to be using a Manson Jar Tumbler, and I will be showing you how I glitter and distress it. So let's get to it. I will be using a 17-ounce Manson Jar Tumbler from Hog. I will also be using Sunshine Bridge from Mr. Nola's Glitter for the glitter base. These jars I just thought were so cute. They're double walled, they come with the straw and lid, and I was just so excited to use this. They just remind me so much of summertime and sipping sweet tea on a front porch. The first thing I'm going to do is take my painter's tape and block off those areas I do not want to be spray painted or epoxied. Now I'm going to take my painter's tape and completely block off the entire lid, and then I'm going to come through with my X-Acto knife and we will take out the center part that we would like to be glittered and decorated. That's all blocked off. I'm going to very carefully take my X-Acto knife and just go around the rim of the lid, and then I will come through and do the same thing around where the straw is to go. I'm going to take my knife and peel back that tape, and it will be ready to be prepped and painted. Prepped my tumbler and painted it white, and I put a coat of epoxy on because I like to add my glitter with the epoxy method. It just makes it lay flatter and it looks prettier that way. This Sunshine Bridge from Mr. Nola's Glitter is an absolutely beautiful yellow. It just reminds me of sunshine and summer, and it is very happy. After I have my tumbler glittered, I like to remove the tape. You can wait 30 minutes if you'd like, but I just remove it right away. I'm going to put that on my turner, and we are going to move on to glittering the lid. I'm just going to take my epoxy and I'm going to smooth that around the lid, and then I will come back through with a gloved finger and I will kind of smooth that out a little bit more. Then I will let it sit for a minute just to kind of flatten out, and then we will be ready to put that glitter on. Now that I've let that sit for a minute, I'm going to apply my glitter, tap off the excess, and then I will come back through and remove the tape. I've removed the tape. I'm going to set it back down on a flat surface, and I'm going to let that epoxy cure. After everything has cured, I come through and I add another coat of epoxy over everything, and then we will be ready to move on to applying our water slides. Tumbler has cured with that second coat of epoxy. Oh, that yellow is so pretty. And we are ready to move on to the water slides. The water slides that I'm using, I just did a simple search for boho sunflower. These are actually the same sunflowers I use on my Be Kind tumbler. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. I'm just going to apply them randomly around the tumbler and make sure all the water is pressed out from underneath. Now with the lid, I'm going to take my sunflower and I'm going to see where I need to trim it, and I'm just going to go with the curve of that lid so that way it's inside of the glittered area. You also want to trim where the straw hole is going to be located as well. Have those cut, I am just going to apply it just like I did on the tumbler base. Just slide it on and make sure all the water is pressed out. I'm going to let those fully dry, and then they will be ready for another coat of epoxy. I'm gonna let that cure for 24 hours, and then I am going to block everything off again with my painter's tape, and we're ready to move outside and give it a nice coat of paint. Using Slate Blue by Rust-Oleum, and I'm just going to go around and give everything a nice coat along with the lid. I let that dry completely, and we are ready to move on to the next step. I have my brush that I'll be using for my alcohol inks, and those inks are Caramel, Aquamarine, and Slate. I also made a mixture of gold mica powder and rubbing alcohol that I'm going to be spritzing on the tumbler as well. I'm going to start with my slate, and I don't want it to be a wood grain. I wanted it more distressed than a wood grain, so I just kind of come through and I'm just going to smudge it around. It doesn't have to be perfect, because once we come back through with that mixture of the mica powder and rubbing alcohol, it will all blend together. Just going to continue around the tumbler doing this, and I'm going to make sure that I interchange the colors. I'm going to use that aquamarine and that caramel, and just keep making stripes around the tumbler, making sure that I hit that bottom. Now that my stripes are done, I'm going to come back through with that mixture that I made with the gold mica powder and rubbing alcohol, and I'm just going to spritz that onto the tumbler and just kind of dab it here and there, just so that way it doesn't bleed too much. Now, because we added the mica powder directly to the alcohol, it's just going to give it a light dusting of that gold. It's going to be very faint and antique looking. After I'm done blending it in, I'm going to come back through one more time with that mixture, and I'm going to just make splotches around the tumbler and not rub it in. Now we are going to repeat this process on the lid. It is all done, and we are ready to distress it even more. You can really see that mica powder. It just gives it an extra dimension, an extra character to it. Now I have 100% acetone, and I have some paper towels on hand. You're going to need quite a few paper towels for this. I'm just going to take my paper towel and soak it in that acetone, and we are going to go around and just rub off some areas of that paint. I am sitting outside doing this because you want to be in a very well ventilated area to do this. That acetone is pretty potent. I didn't really want a geode look with this. I kind of wanted it to look more torn and tattered. Just going to continue to go around my tumbler doing this, and then I'm going to come back through and touch up all those glittered areas just to make sure there is no paint residue left. I'm going to come through and do the same process on my lid. Once I am done with this, I'm going to tape everything back off once more. I'm going to give it a nice coat of clear coat, and it is ready to be sealed up with epoxy. Whether you take this design and duplicate it, or you take this idea and make it something completely your own, I hope that you had a lot of fun watching me today show you how I distress and glitter a mason jar tumbler. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more tutorials I have coming your way, and I will see you guys next time.